President, there's a document here that needs your signature. No response. I remembered the president once said to treat the company like our home. When you go into your own home, do you need to knock? No. So I pushed the door open and walked in, glancing around the room. In front of me was a large, bright floor-to-ceiling window offering a panoramic view of the city, truly a beautiful sight. The interior was elegantly furnished, exuding a clean, business-like aura, and the air carried the familiar, subtle scent of the president. The desk was neatly arranged with office supplies. Everything was there, except for the person who should be working. President. Still no response. But then a pink notebook on the desk caught my attention. Is this a diary? What kind of serious person keeps a diary? Do I keep one? Of course not. As a dedicated assistant, I should help the president by closing it properly. There are many kinds of men, and today, I am the hopeless romantic type. Oh no, my God. My eyes just happen to see that. Reading someone else's diary is highly unethical. But luckily, I have no ethics. Lately, I have been talking less and less. I should really sign up for a sign language class. That fortune teller back then said I would suffer because of love. I thought he meant romance. Who knew it would be because of a pandemic? I kept reading. December 20th. Today I overheard Assistant Rivers say, I have bad breath. Strange, so young, and yet her nose is already broken. That awful president, my last name is Rivers. Before the Lunar New Year break, 2 female employees pinky promised to eat Japanese food together. I do not get it. Why does a pinky promise look so much like a noose? I was engrossed when a deep male voice sounded behind me. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my assistant secretly read my diary. Truly shameless. His voice was low and clear, with a chill that cut through the air. I froze and turned around, tongue-tied. President. I wonder who could be so immoral, daring enough to open your diary like that. The more I spoke, the more I convinced myself. My tone grew indignant, as if, should the diary snooper appear, I would be ready to go to war with them. Such lack of manners, not even a shred of decency. I avoided looking at his face and accidentally glanced down. And there was the diary, still open in my hands. I froze in place. Then I hastily threw the diary away. With a loud smack, it hit the president square in the forehead. Ethan Cole rubbed his now red forehead while glaring at me coldly. I do not know where he bought that notebook, but the quality was awful. One good hit, and it burst open like falling snow. Page after page fluttered to the ground. I stood there watching the papers drift down, mentally bracing myself for the miserable life after getting fired. I forced a stiff smile. President, I think this notebook is a little poor in quality. I heard a cold, mocking chuckle behind me. My legs went weak. President, I did not see the part where you wrote you were the romantic type. As soon as I said it, realization hit me. Right? I just confessed. He always knew how to mask his calm demeanor. His deep black eyes stared straight into mine. What did you see? He asked as he stepped a few paces closer. As if the moment I said the wrong thing, he would deal with me right on the spot. Terrified of being physically punished, my legs trembled uncontrollably. I bent down, intending to pick up the notebook and apologize. But before I could even bend halfway, Ethan Cole quickly stopped me. I froze mid-motion, looking at him in confusion. His expression shifted, and for a brief moment, a rare flicker of panic flashed between his brows. But he quickly suppressed it, furrowing his brows and lowering his voice. Do not move. The atmosphere in the office suddenly grew heavy. After a moment, Ethan Cole took a deep breath, trying to speak to me in a calm tone. Tell me, what exactly did you see? I answered honestly, while I was helping you close the diary. I accidentally glanced at the page I just read. You did not see anything else? No, I replied firmly. Immediately, Ethan Cole's shoulders relaxed, but the tips of his ears began to turn red. He rarely stammered. All right then. You may leave now, so that is it. I'm off the hook. I quickly left work and headed home. Thinking about the scare I got earlier, I decided to skip cooking and ordered some malatang instead. With my phone in hand, I opened Reddit, the gathering place of geniuses, to ask a question. What should you do if you accidentally read your boss's diary? What if you accidentally hurt your boss? Ethan Cole's intense stare popped into my mind again, and I found myself absent-mindedly typing. By the time I came to my senses, the question had already been posted. The message that appeared on screen was, how do you avoid getting fired? My fingers froze. I considered deleting the post, but on second thought, it was a necessary question. Unexpectedly, right after posting, I received a message from a stranger. Hi, I just happened to see your questions. I have a brilliant idea. Curious. I waited, and the next message followed. You should try pursuing your boss. Am I not already in enough trouble? Cough, cough. I almost snorted malatang out of my nose. Just as I recovered, the chat window lit up with more messages. If it works out, you won't need to worry about your future. If it fails, well, you're already at risk of getting fired anyway. Since there's a chance you will be fired either way, why not take the leap? Still hesitant, I replied, is that really okay? On the other end, they answered confidently. Unconventional tactics, what matters is that they work. The idea was ridiculous yet strangely logical, leaving me torn between reason and impulse. In the end, I clenched my teeth and made a decision. After all, Ethan Cole never really noticed me. As long as he did not fire me, I would consider that a win. Maybe he would even feel so awkward afterward that he would not dare look at me when I handed him documents. I typed quickly, sis. Thanks. Mind if we add each other for easier contact? She happily sent me her WhatsApp. I scrolled through her profile. It was abundantly clear this sis was very masculine. I found myself in a dilemma. How could I confess in a half-hearted, insincere way, just enough for Ethan Cole to reject me naturally? Before I could come up with a convincing plan, the executive assistant came looking for me. Lena, go deliver these documents to the president. At the mere mention of president, every hair on my body stood on end. The moment I got caught snooping in his diary still replayed vividly in my mind. I shook my head furiously in protest. I'm not going, all right. Then half your salary this month will be cut. I shuddered and immediately surrendered, bowing my head and flattering her. Executive assistant, I was just joking. Of course I will go. Delivering documents to the president is my favorite part of the job. Under the twitching gaze of the executive assistant, I proudly walked away. Standing before the president's door, I took a deep breath. Gently, I knocked. Come in. Ethan Cole was intently reading documents, not even looking up. He pointed casually at a vacant spot, signaling me to place the file there. I set the documents down carefully and was about to sneak out quietly. Just then, he raised his thermal cup to take a sip. As the liquid slid down his throat, his Adam's apple bobbed, catching the eye in a strangely hypnotic way. I was momentarily entranced. Suddenly, he began coughing violently. Cough, cough, cough. It sounded like he was coughing up a lung. Panicking, I rushed over and grabbed his arm, shouting, President, President, are you all right? He struggled to point at the thermal cup. Poison. Oh my God. The business world is truly ruthless. Are they resorting to poisoning now? Trembling, I picked up the thermal cup and hastily removed the silver necklace from my ear. Both were silver. That should work for testing poison, right? I held it close to inspect it. A sweet aroma hit my nose, a familiar scent stirred something deep in my soul. QQ pearls, irresistibly delicious. Looking closer, the cup was still full of chewy QQ pearls. Could Ethan Cole be choking? I looked up. He was still coughing, his face paler than before. That is when my university first aid training kicked in. President, forgive me for this. I wrapped my arms around his waist from behind, positioned my hands just above his abdomen, and thrust inward and upward, again and again. Finally, a pearl flew from his throat. He collapsed into the chair, gasping for breath, visibly shaken. He looked slightly disheveled, but far more approachable than usual, with a single stray hair waving gently in the air. Suddenly, I remember my mission to confess. I dropped to my knees in front of Ethan Cole and burst into dramatic sobs. President Ethan, please do not scare me like that. If you die, how am I supposed to go on living? President Ethan, I can't live without you. I wailed with passion, laying my emotions bare. His expression stiffened further. Suddenly, he stood straight up. His face looked agitated, mouth moving without sound, hands flailing awkwardly. His eyes turned red, as if on the verge of tears. His gestures as fast as a ninja's. Time to show some devotion. I grabbed the thermal cup on the desk and handed it to him, even gently patting his back with concern. Ethan Cole took it reflexively and sipped. The moment he realized what was still in the cup, his pupils dilated. Then he fainted on the spot. Ethan Cole was rushed to the emergency room, while I stood outside, crying my heart out. A nurse walked past and shot me a glare. Only then did I finally quiet down, wiping away my tears in silence. It was not for anyone else's sake, just my own. The year was almost over. If the president really kicked the bucket, would not that mean my year-end bonus would go down the drain too? I did not know how long I waited before a nurse finally came out and led me to Ethan Cole's room. As soon as I entered, I saw a bed covered with a white sheet. Underneath, a faint silhouette rose and fell, clearly the shape of a person. My emotions soared like a roller coaster and shot straight to the top. No way. Did Ethan Cole actually choke to death on a pearl? A wave of sorrow surged through me. I could not help but drop to my knees in front of the bed. Crying loudly, I shouted, "President, wake up. I do not believe it. How could you die just like that? If you were gone, what am I supposed to do? President, wake up. You have not even issued the year-end bonus yet." Thinking about that distant bonus, the pain in my heart peaked. Tears streamed down like rain. President, if you really can't make it, at least release the year-end bonus first. When it is time for your funeral, I will hire a group of handsome men in black suits to bow silently at your grave, then walk away without a word. That way, you will have a mysterious past no one ever knew about. I was passionately mid-monologue when a deep male voice rang out behind me. I'm not dead yet. I froze. Slowly, stiffly, I turned around. On the luxurious sofa lay a man looking relaxed. His face was all too familiar. It was none other than my infamously powerful boss, Ethan Cole. I pretended to wipe tears from the corners of my eyes and awkwardly stood up, putting on the expression of someone who just escaped death. President, you're not dead. As soon as the words left my mouth, I realized how badly I misspoke and quickly corrected myself. I thought you were. Damn it, mouth, who told you to speak on your own? Before Ethan Cole could call me out, I quickly changed the subject. President, why did you suddenly faint like that? What did the doctors say? Is it serious? When can I go back to work? My mouth spoke faster than my brain could keep up. Brain, would you mind hurrying up? In response, Ethan Cole said nothing. He simply crossed his arms and gave me a cold smirk. My heart sank. That stingy slave driver, do not tell me he is planning to cut my year-end bonus. Ignoring his twitching lips, I continued the act. President, President. Finally, under his unbearable stare, I rang the nurse's call button. A moment later, the nurse arrived and kicked me out to go buy lunch. After working my way into the nurse's good graces, I finally learned the reason Ethan Cole had to be hospitalized. In the end, it was my fault, because my first aid technique was not correct. The rest of the pearls were pushed to the side, nearly costing him his life and me. My year-end bonus. A surge of guilt flooded me. When buying lunch for Ethan Cole, I even Googled which meals were best for recovery. I pushed the door. It was locked. I shouted, President, President, open the door for me. No reply. Figures he would not bother answering me. But it is okay. I had a secret weapon. Hopeless romantic. I had not even finished the line when Ethan Cole opened the door with a pitch-black expression, eyeing the pile of food in my hands like it was trash. His body language screamed, take yourself and your junk and get lost. We stood at the doorway, locked in a silent standoff. Under my pleading gaze, he finally showed mercy and let me in. After washing my hands and returning from the bathroom, I saw Ethan Cole about to dig into my spicy chicken wings and iced Coke. The sight shattered my self-control instantly. I did not care that he was my boss. I lunged forward and blocked his mouth. President, that is my lunch. Yours is over there. I pointed at the plain bowl of congee on the coffee table, hinting that he should behave and stop ruining my meal. But he glared at me. I got annoyed. I bought you lunch, and you are still glaring at me. Ethan Cole, you heartless man. I was so worked up, I even called him by name. Suddenly, I felt something warm, soft and moist in my palm. I looked down. Turns out, I was still holding Ethan Cole's mouth shut, making his lips look like a duckbill. I stammered, President, your mouth. Here, I am giving it back now. His eyes were blazing with fury, his whole body trembling. Muscles tight, it was clear how enraged he was. His voice boomed, practically swallowing me whole. Lena Rivers, your year-end bonus is canceled. President, if I had not taken you to the hospital, how would you even know you had appendicitis? This is how you repay kindness with cruelty. I stood up, spun around, and slammed the door shut, only to turn around and run right into Ethan Cole's executive assistant, Vanessa White. At the cafe, Jay Chow's love confession balloon echoed gently throughout the space. The surroundings were elegant and stylish, with tiny cascading waterfalls adding bright splashes of color to the scene. The woman sitting across from me was dressed in a neat professional suit, quietly sipping her coffee, occasionally letting out soft, restless noises. She did not speak, and neither did I. A minute of silence passed. Then, she began inching closer toward me, looking increasingly uncomfortable. I glanced at her, but still said nothing. 5 minutes went by. She started scratching her head in frustration, her elegant image completely unraveling. Finally, she took out her phone, pretending to scroll, tucking a lock of hair behind her ear. Oh, the president is urging me to return quickly. I blinked in confusion. Oh, then you should settle the bill and go take care of the president. She scrolled through her phone a few more times, clearly irritated. I am supposed to be the executive assistant, but the president keeps assigning me trivial tasks. I feel like I am turning into his personal maid. Lena, if you were in my shoes, what would you do? Hearing that from Vanessa White made my blood boil. Ethan Cole really was a stingy tyrant. He would probably skin even a stray dog walking past him. The working class must rise and unite. I snapped. I would teach him a lesson. You should demand a raise. If he does not give it to you, sue him. Demand compensation N+1. Vanessa's face suddenly turned sour, like she was suffering from constipation. I assumed she was just afraid of being crushed by Ethan Cole's dark empire. I thumped my chest valiantly. Don't worry, sister. I will back you up. We will fight capitalism together. When you resign, I will secretly sell the company's toilet paper to support you. In that moment, I felt heroic. It is time for the working class to rise. At that, Vanessa White slammed her coffee spoon into the cup, liquid splashing dangerously close to my face. Then, she bolted up from her seat and stormed out of the cafe. I stared at the spilled coffee on my hand and quickly stood up. Amid the crowd's surprised stares, I yelled, "Vanessa White, you have not paid for your coffee. If you are really struggling, at least pay for your own cup." She was the one who invited me out for coffee, which is the only reason I came in the first place. A cup here costs nearly $100. I could not just let it slide. Out of sympathy for our newly formed working class alliance, I even agreed to split the bill. But Vanessa's expression only darkened further. She slammed a $100 note down on the table, nearly missing, causing the coffee cup to tremble slightly. Even someone as thick-skinned as me could tell Vanessa White was furious. "Ethan Cole, what on earth have you done now? I have to bring justice to the people and win back my year-end bonus." I was so stupid. Seriously. I thought Ethan Cole was heartless, but I did not expect him to be shameless too. Damn that rotten man, he actually dared to cut my year-end bonus. Right now, I was standing outside Ethan Cole's office, wearing a fake smile. "Happy New Year, President. Politeness first, then business." I had not even gotten to my real point when Ethan Cole tossed a stack of documents at me, telling me to bring them to HR. I said defiantly, "Deliver documents." "Not going. So what? Am I the first woman to say no to you?" Ethan Cole sneered. "Guess." Then he went back to reading, clearly not caring what I planned to do. All right, then he did not fall for the bait. That meant I had no choice but to use my ultimate weapon. I took out a lighter and my phone. The lighter clicked repeatedly while my phone played the one I like. "You do not have a lighter, yet you light up my heart." The corner of his mouth twitched. He anxiously shielded the documents in his hand, his sharp eyes fixed on me. "Damaging company property is a crime. I suggest you think carefully before you act." Now, it was my turn to twitch. "President, I am playing with fire here." Ethan Cole reminded me between the two of us. There were 800 tricks. He had 801, and I was still short one. I had no choice but to resort to my most primal move, brute force. I grabbed the stack of documents and held them over the flame. "President, would you like to reconsider the year-end bonus? The finance department said it needs your signature." "Ethan Cole, fight me. I am taking back what is mine, especially the bonus." I even pulled out the salary sheet. The spot for year-end bonus had one big fat zero. This year, the company could not have grown without me. Without me, it is only a matter of time before it collapses. Finally, that despicable man, Ethan Cole, lifted his head and gave me a standard corporate smile. So irritating. After staring at me for a long time, he finally spoke. "List your contributions." I raised my 10 fingers and began counting. If I had not accidentally spilled water on your desk, you would not have discovered the loophole in the partner contract. And when you choked on those boba pearls, if I had not rushed you to the hospital in time, you would not have known you had appendicitis. And last time, you made me buy you fake abs and a fake, but so you could shine at the party. That is enough. Ethan Cole looked at me helplessly, his eyes darting around nervously, as if afraid someone might overhear. The more he wanted to hide, the more determined I was to expose him. I was about to keep going when he suddenly clamped a hand over my mouth. His warm palm touched my lips, sending a strange wave of heat through my body. I stiffened like I would been electrocuted. President, let go. Damn it. I had not even finished my line before he pressed down harder. Ethan Cole leaned in close, his voice low in my ear. If I let go, you behave. He looked at me as if waiting for confirmation. I blinked obediently. The moment he released me, I started wailing again. President, all right. I will call finance right now. Mission, bonus recovery completed. I skipped out of the president's office joyfully, eager to share the good news with my mentor, the one who guided me through this plan. If not for her advice, I would not have even thought of playing with fire. Mentor was the nickname I gave to the online friend who helped me keep my job last time. To get your bonus back, all you need is a little flattery and some softness toward your boss. Isn't it easy? I did not expect to hit the wrong button and accidentally video called her. Panicking, I was about to hang up when a loud noise came from Ethan Cole's office. I rushed back in and saw Ethan Cole on the floor. Having fallen from his chair, my eyes drawn straight to the glowing screen of his phone. Peppa Pig flashed on the screen, then the phone went dark. Well, what else could I expect? He is the president, after all, and I am just a nobody. People with such unique taste and aesthetics. Truly rare gems. I looked away from the phone and glanced down at Ethan Cole, still lying on the floor. Our eyes met. He looked a bit flustered, avoiding my gaze like someone caught doing something shady. Wait, do not tell me my year-end bonus still is not settled. No way. As a model employee fighting for my well-deserved bonus, how could I just leave my boss lying on the floor? I quickly reached for his arm, trying to help him up with all my strength. But the man dodged my hand and instead slung his arm around my shoulders. Due to the height difference, I became his human crutch as he stood up. The moment he got on his feet, I lost my balance and toppled over. Ethan Cole's arm was still around my shoulders. Not having steadied himself yet, he fell right on top of me. By the time I regained my senses, I was lying in Ethan Cole's chest. Panicking, I tried to sit up, but my hand accidentally landed on his abs. Unlike the rest of his body, his core was noticeably firm. My fingers instinctively moved, absent-mindedly tracing circles across his abs. Trying to ease the awkwardness, my brain lagged behind my mouth again. First came a whistle, then I gave him a slow once-over and left one final comment. Feels amazing. Ethan Cole's face instantly darkened, like he was about to ship me off to the northern border of Myanmar. Yet his body had gone limp, and even the tips of his ears had turned pink. The tension in the air was suffocating. I tried to squeeze out a few words to break the awkward silence. President, are you okay? Ethan Cole replied curtly, clearly irritated. I am fine. I forced a smile. Glad to hear that. I will go deliver the documents now. As I stepped out of his office, I could not help venting to my mentor about my impossible boss. My fingers flew across the keyboard like they were spitting fire. Mentor, my boss is a certified idiot. If the salary was not this good, I would not even give him the time of day. Can you help me think of a way to teach him a lesson? Mentor, have you ever touched a man's abs before? It feels really good. I fired off the messages in one go. She probably had not replied because she was busy. On the way back after delivering the documents, a familiar heat crept into my stomach. After resolving my physiological needs, my ear suddenly picked up a voice saying my name. Lena Rivers only got into our company through the back door. She seems so sweet, never acts arrogant at all. Don't judge a book by its cover. You know how high our company standards are. She came from a no-name school and still got in that says it all. Does not it? True, I stayed hidden in the restroom, barely daring to breathe. I knew my place. I was a husky lost among a pack of wolves. When I opened my phone again, my long-lost mentor finally replied to my messages. The first thing that popped up was an adorable emoji. But her words were anything but sweet. Teaching him a lesson is easy. The real question is, are you willing to do it? Was I willing? Of course I was. No worker in their right mind could resist such a tempting challenge. I replied with confidence, "Yes, I am in." She was clearly pleased with my answer. Her replies came in rapid fire bursts. First, do this. Then follow up with. Reading her instructions, I could not believe my eyes. It all boiled down to 3 words. Pursue Ethan Cole. I hesitated and asked, "Mentor, are you seriously serious?" No reply. I frowned, stuck somewhere between ethics, pride, and principle. Before I could decide what to do, Ethan Cole called me. I took a deep breath before answering. "Lena Rivers, I told you to deliver the documents." "What did you do?" "Flee the country. If I do not see you in my office in 10 minutes, I will mark you down for half a day of unapproved leave." I pulled the phone away and yelled loudly, "President, what are you saying? The signal here's terrible. Hello, hello." Then I hung up, fuming. The flames of rebellion rose within me. I had to represent the working class. I had to rise up. It was time to craft a meticulous plan to make Ethan Cole spin like a top in my hands. In the heat of the moment, I realized something. I was still sitting on the toilet, and I would have been in the bathroom for nearly 50 minutes. After adjusting my clothes, I returned to my desk and started drafting an action plan. But I hit a roadblock right at step 1. At 25 years old, chasing someone felt harder than mastering advanced calculus. Still, in this age of digital power, one must leverage technology. So I reopened the chat with my mentor. "Mentor, what is the first step in pursuing someone?" At the top of the chat box, the typing indicator blinked. The other party is typing. Finally, her answer came through. "Be good to him." I responded simply, "Okay." Based on over a decade of experience reading domineering CEO novels, I have come to one solid conclusion. All powerful CEOs have tragic childhoods. The silent type, like Ethan Cole, definitely suffered hard. There is no way a regular girl would ever catch his eye, so I had to think outside the box. In society, your identity is self-made. From now on, I would be the domineering one. That day, I finally had my chance to warm Ethan Cole's cold heart. Yesterday marked the final 2 working weeks before Lunar New Year. With so many projects due, Ethan Cole had been working non-stop and even slept at the office. I got up early, put on the white coat I would carefully selected, and mentally rehearsed my caring routine before heading out. Standing beside Ethan Cole's bed, I had no idea what he was dreaming about, but he wore a peaceful, gentle smile. I grew impatient and barked out sharply, "Ethan Cole, wake up. I order you to open your eyes and look at me right now. Do you hear me?" Moved by my sincere aggression, Ethan Cole stirred and opened his eyes. Startled, he shielded his face and pulled the blanket over his bare chest. But the blanket was too short, and with that sudden motion, his pajama bottoms with the little yellow duck pattern were fully exposed. I froze for a moment. That definitely was not part of my rehearsal, but I was a pro and elite improviser. My gaze locked onto those yellow ducky pants. A sly smirk crept onto my lips. With 30% mischief, 20% cool indifference, and 50% nonchalance, I said, "This is your move, really? You are playing with fire." My friend, Ethan Cole, flushed with embarrassment. He let go of the blanket and quickly used it to cover the duck print pants, revealing a toned, bare chest in the process. I squinted with mock admiration. Nice upgrade. While he was still stunned, I launched into my grand finale. Feigning nervousness, I tugged at my coat collar and leaned in both hands, pressing down on either side of his hips. Letting my breath deliberately brush against his ear, I whispered, "You lit the fire. Now put it out yourself." With that, I rolled off him, gracefully leaping away. Escape mode Activated. But just as my hand touched the doorknob, a strong arm wrapped around my waist. With a firm pull, Ethan Cole dragged me back to the bed. Pinned beneath him, I could feel every sculpted line of muscle through the thick layers of fabric. His breath was hot against my ear. His signature scent enveloped me, and the space between us vanished in an instant. When I looked up, his gaze was fixed on my lips. We locked eyes. We could hear each other's breaths. The atmosphere made it impossible not to close my eyes. But instead of kissing me, he simply shifted positions, wrapping me in his arms, his chin resting against my hair. Then, in a voice rough with sleep, he murmured, "Lena, go back to sleep. I need to save my strength to meet you. Why can't you even behave in my dreams?" Just two simple sentences, and my brain's CPU overheated. I could not deny it anymore. I was smitten. Because honestly, who could resist a man who says your name even in his dreams? I gently pried Ethan Cole's arm from around my waist, slipped on my shoes, and tiptoed out of the room. As I softly closed the door behind me and turned around, I came face to face with Vanessa White. My body froze instantly. I was not sure if I was already embarrassed or on my way to even deeper shame. I needed to salvage this awkward situation fast, but my brain had completely crashed, and all I could squeeze out was, "Good morning, Assistant Vanessa." She scoffed, not bothering to reply. Talking to herself was apparently one of her talents, and now she decided to show it off in front of me. "Oh, the president asked me to come in early today. I did not expect you would be the one to catch me." Classic CEO romance novel material packed with misunderstandings. A real-life montage setup. But her move, weak. I stayed silent, waiting to see what she would do next. After a beat, she pretended to be bashful, covering her mouth as she spoke. "Lena, there is nothing between me and the president. Okay, please do not say anything to the others. Just keep it to yourself." Her cheeks flushed a suspicious red, the kind of obvious fake blush that screamed she wanted everyone to assume there was something going on. The only thing missing was a megaphone. "Hey everyone, I am totally having a thing with the boss." My lips twitched. "Vanessa White, transfer me $500 on WhatsApp, and I won't say a word. Use sass to counter shady tactics." The blush on her face vanished instantly, replaced by a sharp, arrogant glare full of thinly veiled contempt. Confronted with such hostility, I could not keep up the fake smile anymore. I turned to head back to my desk, but she quickly caught up and blocked my way. Her expression was pure superiority. Her eyes flicked downward with that classic condescending scan, arms crossed tightly in front of her chest. Her voice dripped with smugness, like even speaking to me was a favor. "Here's a word of advice. Do not chase after things that do not belong to you. If you end up losing everything, do not say I did not warn you. Lena Rivers, would not you agree?" My face shifted instantly. Watching the smug storm dance across her expression, twisting through an entire color palette, was enough to make my head spin. I did not bother acknowledging the swirl of emotion on her face. I just raised my chin high and marched straight back to my desk with pride. Ever since I shattered Vanessa White's petty theatrics, the rumors about me getting in through the back door had only gotten worse. Restrooms, break rooms, the cafeteria. People would glance at me with curious stares, just one step away from asking me outright to my face. All those doubts turned into sharp blades, tearing apart every bit of effort I would poured into this past year. At the year-end meeting, the conference room was packed. Everyone had to present their year-end report, even someone as famously lazy as me. But the moment I opened my PowerPoint, the words backdoor entry and nepotism lit up the screen. A wave of murmurs swept through the room. Expressionless, I closed the presentation, pulled out my phone, and loaded another file. Then a male voice from behind cut in with a snide tone. Lena Rivers, care to explain? The company's been swimming in rumors lately. A female voice followed. Our company prides itself on fairness and integrity. You have tainted its reputation. How can you shamelessly stay here? Their words hit like boiling oil splashing into a pan, igniting waves of whispers and dagger glances all around me. I dug my nails into my palm, lifted my chin, and raised my voice. I would like to begin my report now. Ignoring the hostile stares, I calmly and thoroughly presented my work. Thank you all for listening. I look forward to your feedback. Then I bowed with grace. Everyone thought I was done, but I opened a new PowerPoint. Lately, everyone's been curious about whether I entered the company through connections. I would like to take a moment to clarify. Attached were all my recruitment documents, application forms, interview records, and every detail of my hiring process. As you can see, everything was transparent and official. As for how an ordinary graduate like me got into this company, I hope my performance today speaks for itself. I believe educational background is not everything. Effort is what truly matters. Then, I turned toward Vanessa White. Lastly, I would like to ask Assistant Vanessa, in a company as fair and upright as ours, how should false accusations and defamation of coworkers be addressed? Watching Vanessa White shrink into the shadows finally gave me a sense of justice. Ethan Cole was the first to clap. Others followed hesitantly, until the entire room erupted into resounding applause. I looked toward Ethan Cole and gave him a nod, offering a grateful smile. Without his silent permission, I would not have had the chance to clear my name in front of everyone. The moment of triumph did not last long. Vanessa White showed up out of nowhere. Lena Rivers, this is Mia Chun. She will be taking over your position. Make sure to hand everything over to her. I stared at her, stunned. Didn't I just clear my name in front of the entire company? Why was I still being fired? Was it because someone found out I secretly charged my phone at work? Or was it because I got caught reading novels during office hours? Vanessa clearly had no intention of explaining. She dropped Mia Chun in front of me and left. Looking into Mia's innocent, trusting eyes, I could not bear to make things difficult for her. I swallowed my fury toward Ethan Cole, forced a stiff smile, and picked up a sticky note. While jotting things down, I explained, our position mainly supports the executive assistant. Basically, we report directly to the president. We were like utility bricks wherever there is a gap. We get slotted in. Every morning, you will need to bring him plain. Black coffee, instant is fine. He can't tell the difference anyway. You have to meet all his requests, even if you do not know how. You will have to learn. If he goes off the rails, just leave him be. I handed the note to Mia Chun. Seeing her gradually enlightened expression, I patted her on the shoulder with satisfaction. She was halfway to becoming a real office warrior. Then I stood up, texting my mentor while walking away ranting about the betrayal. I, Lena Rivers, came in with a clean conscience and left drenched in dirty water empty-handed. This company is a monster. Heartless. I stopped outside Ethan Cole's office. I was on a knock, but changed my mind and barged in. My fury could rival that of a ghost out for revenge. Ethan Cole, I already proved my innocence. Why are you still firing me? He paused mid-scroll on his phone and looked up at me, eyes wide with feigned surprise. That clueless expression deserved an Oscar. I pressed on. My mom once went to a fortune teller. She said my destiny brings fortune to your company. Without me, it is only a matter of time before everything crumbles. And when that happens, even if you beg, I won't come back. My mouth ran dry from speaking, but Ethan Cole's face stayed completely calm. That smirk, not quite a smile, and those annoyingly perfect jawlines were clearer than my 5-year life plan. Ugh. Fine. I will admit it. I caught feelings. Disgusting, right? Grinding my teeth. I spat out. All right. Fire me. Then. But, can I get one kiss? I marched over to his plush chair, leaned in, and trapped it between my arms and the seat back. With reckless resolve, I leaned down. Ethan Cole panicked, dropping his phone to the floor right by my foot. Just before our lips met, I froze, because I saw the open chat on his screen. I turned my head slowly, eyes narrowing. Mentor. Ethan Cole. I knew those mentoring messages were weird. Completely unhinged, even. Right then, my rage shot straight to my head hotter than any heartbreak. I wanted to murder this man. Slowly. Ethan Cole cared to explain. For once, he lost his cool. He pulled his head in and muttered defensively. Well, I almost laughed from how furious I was. Smooth move. Very sneaky. He could only cover his face and whimper. I do not know what you are talking about. Looking at him, this lying, manipulative, secretly scheming man, I remembered everything he had encouraged me to do, including the kiss. So I shoved his hand away and kissed him hard, firm, and urgent. I mean, I was quitting anyway. Might as well get my money's worth. It was not until we were both out of breath that I slowly leaned into his ear. With a voice like velvet, I whispered, "Did you enjoy that? You really are the cold outside, warm inside type." Watching Ethan Cole's face and neck flush pink, I whistled silently in my head, quoting from the great CEO romance genre. Damn. I walked out of Ethan Cole's office with the most satisfied look on my face. No wonder people say, to die beneath the peony blossom is to remain a romantic even in death. As a proud member of the Rivers lineage, I now fully agreed with that sentiment. The moment I turned around, I ran straight into the executive assistant. He looked concerned as he grabbed my arm. "Lena Rivers, where have you been? Didn't I tell you to head to Vanessa White's office after you finished the handover? Why are you still wandering around here?" I was dumbfounded. Pointing to my own nose, I asked, stunned, what would I be doing in Vanessa White's office? The executive assistant gave me a look like I was the village idiot. Vanessa White was fired for spreading false rumors. You are temporarily taking over her position. Me? Are you sure the person getting promoted is me, Lena Rivers? Absolutely, huh? I was on the verge of losing my mind. I had to take a deep breath. My mind instantly flashed back to that moment when I pinned Ethan Cole to the chair and kissed him like a storm while quoting cheesy CEO lines straight out of a novel. I pinched my cheek. Hard. Ouch. Yep, this was real. Not a dream. The executive assistant could not stand my internal meltdown any longer and cut through my thoughts. All right, just pack up your things and remember to report to HR. After a week of working in that new role filled with tension and secondhand embarrassment, Ethan Cole, miraculously, did not give me any trouble at all. My mom kept nagging that my brain must have been drained dry. But as an adult, I understood very clearly what Ethan Cole's constant teasing meant. I could not say I had no feelings for Ethan Cole, but as someone living paycheck to paycheck, I had no right to feel that way. I would chug 2 bubble teas in a row just to get half off the next one. He drinks his pearls out of a temperature-controlled tumbler. Not the same world. Not a match. Fine. Maybe it was just that I still could not get over the humiliation of being played. Luckily, it is a big company. We made it a point to avoid each other, so we barely ever crossed paths. Whenever we did run into each other, I immediately lowered my head. I did not see his eyes. Didn't see that strange glimmer. Didn't see anything unusual. Didn't see the burning look that could set the whole room on fire. New Year's Eve, just before the fireworks were set to light up the night sky, I received a call from an unknown number. It was not just unfamiliar, it came from a completely different area code. I hung up immediately, but the number called again. Annoyed, I picked up with a not-so-friendly tone. Hello. The resentment in my voice could have scared off demons. Clearly, whoever was on the other end had not expected such hostility. They did not respond at first. All I could hear was the wind howling through the receiver. A gust of wind blew past me, too. The silence dragged on. I lost patience. Say something. Is this a joke? Then the voice started talking, rambling. Really? Why did I call it a joke? Because the guy claimed they had Ethan Cole, and they were demanding $200,000 in ransom. Ethan Cole, the very definition of a domineering CEO, net worth in the billions. You kidnap Ethan Cole and ask for $200K. Even his underwear is worth more than that. Scammers really working overtime to hit year-end KPIs. Fine, let us play. I kept my voice nervous, but my face was glowing with joy as I pulled up a car crash sound effect online. Oh my God, please do not hurt our CEO. I will bring the ransom money right now. Just give me the address. The scammer started laughing loudly. I even heard beer cans clinking. Already celebrating, huh? Then a rough, gravelly male voice cut through their laughter. Fine, bring it to Blossom Auction Yard. He did not even get to finish the address before I blasted the crash sound effect into the call. Screeching tires, explosions, people screaming, chaos. Just listening to it could give someone PTSD. The other end went dead silent. Then I heard gasps, 1, 2, maybe more. Pure panic. I cover my mouth to keep from laughing. Memories of every miserable moment in my life flashed before me just to stop me from bursting out right there. I wonder if those guys will lay in bed tonight thinking, damn, we deserve this. Huh, 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 huh. But I did not get to enjoy my revenge for long. A voice's voice rang out. Deep, familiar, and furious. Urgent like I would never heard before. What happened? The men stuttered, unable to respond. Ethan Cole's voice grew more agitated, raspier with rage, completely out of control. The sounds of a violent struggle came through the line. What happened to her? Tell me. Right now, are you mute? Didn't you want $200K? Let me go. I will give each of you $1 million. I could hear something heavy crash to the floor. Goosebumps everywhere. Oh, my God. Ethan Cole. He was actually in their hands. New Year's Eve, right before the countdown and fireworks. I got a call from an unknown number. It was from another area code and number I did not recognize. I hung up immediately, but it called again. Annoyed, I picked up, voice sharp. Hello. My irritation was practically radiating through the line. The other side did not expect such hostility and went silent. All I could hear was the wind whistling through the speaker. A gust blew past me as well. Still no response. My patience snapped. Say something. What is this? A prank. Then the callers started rambling. Why did I think it was a joke? Because they said they had Ethan Cole, and they were demanding $200,000 in ransom. Ethan Cole, the ultra-rich CEO, worth billions, kidnapping Ethan and asking for $200K. Please, strip him down, and his watch alone is worth more. These scammers must be on a tight KPI schedule for New Year's Eve. So do not blame me for going full drama queen. While pretending to panic, I searched up car crash sound effects online. My face was all smiles, but my voice trembled just enough to sound scared. Please do not hurt our CEO. I will bring the ransom right away. Just tell me the address. The scammers laughed out loud, like really loud. I heard beer cans clinking, celebrating already. Then, a low, gravelly voice took over. All right, bring it to Blossom Auction Yard. Before he finished, I blasted the car. Crash, sound, screeching tires. Gas tank explosions, people screaming. Instant chaos. They went dead silent. Then one by one, I heard gasps and frightened shouting. I had to cover my mouth to stop myself from laughing. I thought of every tragedy I have ever endured to keep a straight face. I wonder if those poor guys will lie awake tonight thinking, yeah, we totally deserve that. Huh, huh, huh. But my victory did not last. A voice deep, urgent, and familiar cut through the line. Ethan Cole, furious, rushed. Not like I would ever heard him before. What happened? The men stammered. No one could answer. His voice grew hoarse and desperate. I could hear the struggle on the other end. What happened to her? Tell me now. Didn't you want 200K? Let me go. I will give each of you $1 million. A loud crash followed. I froze. Oh my God. Ethan Cole was actually in their hands. I quickly grabbed my laptop, trying to track the SIM card location, and texted the executive assistant for a rescue. Then I switched to a different number and called back. Hello, who is this? I pitched my voice up, imitating a squeaky, lowly tone. Big brother, that assistant you spoke to earlier got into an accident. I will bring the ransom right away. I could still hear Ethan yelling in the background, demanding to know what was happening. There were faint grunts and sounds of him being hit. My heart raced, but I kept my voice light. We will bring you the full 200K, but only if the CEO stays safe. Safe is fine, but now the price is double. Suddenly, they sounded sharper like pros. Smarter, colder. A change like that meant one thing. Someone smarter was behind all this. I played along, cheerful as ever. Money's not a problem. Can I talk to Ethan Cole for a second? My childish tone must have lowered their guard. Soon, I heard the speakerphone click on. Ethan's voice came through, weak but steady. Don't worry about me. Go check on Assistant Rivers. She was driving. I think she got into an accident. Ethan, his panic surged. He sounded like he would just clawed his way out of hell. Go now, please. What if something happened to her? Ethan, his voice cracked at the end. Please, find Lunar Rivers. It is cold tonight. She is out there alone. He was trembling, irrational with worry. The kidnappers yanked the phone back. All right, you have confirmed he is alive. Now bring 400,000 US dollars. Just then, I received a message from the executive assistant. Rescue team needs more time. Keep them on the line. So I stalled. Big bros, I actually hate our CEO. So let me give you some advice. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Right. You are asking for 400K from a billionaire. That is an insult. Your professionals start like pros. 1 million each sounds more like it. You guys feel like family. I would not even be saying this to someone I did not respect. Right. They almost cried from being touched. Still hesitant, the leader muttered. 1 million each, that is a lot. While texting my intel to the assistant, I kept negotiating. You have kidnapped a pure capitalist. This is a message from the working class. Besides, you will need to pay your superiors later anyway. New Year's is not exactly festive for you either. The leader chuckled, unaware he would just revealed too much. What? No way. The higher-ups pay us. Honestly, I have never met a more arrogant woman. You think you are untouchable. And just like that, I knew who was behind it. The executive assistant messaged again. I found an excuse to hang up. From there, it was out of my hands. 11:59 p.m. I waited excitedly for the fireworks. Then my phone rang again. Caller, Ethan Skinflint. I sighed, picked up without enthusiasm. Hello, I'm downstairs. I peeked out the window. Half of Ethan Cole was shrouded in darkness. Under the dim streetlight, he leaned lazily against the pole in a black coat, back slightly hunched, like a street rogue. Then he looked up and squinted at me. When our eyes met, he smiled. The smile tugged at the wound on his lip, ruining his handsomeness. Bruises dotted his face. But he did not seem to care. He just looked at me. 12:00. The New Year's fireworks exploded, lighting up the sky, and Ethan's face. I could clearly see his lips move, and his voice echoed through the phone. "Happy New Year, Lena." My heart soared. I cupped my hands and shouted, "Happy New Year." He waved, motioning for me to come down. I glanced at my greasy hair and crumpled pajamas and shook my head. His face changed, eyes darkening, like he was about to threaten me again. But then he softened, pouting. "Big sis Lena, come down here, please." Pretty please. With my cursedly good eyesight, I could see him biting his bottom lip. I shut my eyes in despair. What sins had I committed in a past life to witness Ethan Cole acting cute? He continued. "C's." I interrupted, exasperated. I get it. I get it. Just do not overdo it." I bolted downstairs. Suddenly, he pulled out a bouquet of roses. 19 red roses still fresh with dew, accented by delicate white baby's breath. "Lena, I like you. Will you be my girlfriend?" The silence was deafening. I felt his eyes on my face. I looked up into those deep, serious eyes, the CEO himself, blushing and shaking while confessing his feelings. I did not answer. He looked disappointed, but his eyes stayed warm. "You are not ready yet. That is okay. Think of this as me spending New Year's Eve with you. I even brought your favorite strawberry tart." He pulled it from behind his back. The sadness in his eyes deepened. I had not figured out what to say, but my mouth beat me to it. "Not unless I see your abs." Just a joke. But Ethan Cole took it seriously. He unzipped his coat, revealing a crisp white shirt. He lowered his head, eyelashes trembling, and slowly lifted the shirt. With his teeth. "Is this okay?" "Sure." I gasped and yanked his shirt back down, glancing around like a thief. I zipped his coat shut. His whole body was soaked, like he had just been fished out of a river. I patted his shoulder. "I believe you." His expression froze, like a machine booting up after 10 years. You said yes, you agreed to be my girlfriend." His smile bloomed like a flower, like he had just landed a billion-dollar contract. He softly called my name and kissed me. "Lena, right now. I am really, really happy." His ears turned red like strawberries in snow. I hugged him tight and whispered, "I want to taste winter strawberries." Even as we kissed until we were breathless, I stayed snuggled in his arms, playing with his elegant, knuckle-defined hands. Then I suddenly remembered. "Hey, what did I ever say you were a guy who smells good?" His face went stiff. He tried to change the subject, but I stared him down. Finally, he sighed in defeat. "When we were 8, after you took me to blow up a septic tank,